Hello everybody, it's Tracy Di Bartolo here, Thermomix consultant from McLaren Vale in Adelaide. Welcome if you are live with me right now. Even if you're not, you're watching me later or on my YouTube channel. I always like it if I get a bit of feedback from you, so just a thumbs up or a comment or whatever would be really nice. Okay, so very quickly I am going to do a couple of seasonings. So what I decided to do, I had lots of lemons and lots of rosemary. So I had a quick look in Cookie Doo and found that there was a really great one, which I'd done a long time ago and forgotten about, lemon pepper seasoning. So that is what it's called, lemon pepper seasoning. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a batch of that and then go straight on and do a slight variation, putting some rosemary in it. So what I have done before I started is I've got one of these lovely mix shop baking tins, and it has got the lovely silicone in there, so that means you don't have to keep using the baking paper, which then you just throw away. So I'm trying to not do things like that where I'm constantly throwing things away. So what I did was I got the peeler, which of course is a Thermomix peeler, out of this is a beautiful tool kit. You can find this on the mix shop. Once upon a time it was only a reward or for consultants only, but now everybody can buy them. And they've got just so many useful things that you can use in the kitchen. So it's a little pack like that. There's scissors that come apart, there's the peeler, there's a lovely bread and butter knife, a couple of little paring knives, and the best ice cream scoop that you will ever find. So that just rolls up like that. And I've got a few of these. One lives in my kitchen, another one is on my travel tub, and of course in my consultant's tub. So with said peeler, you grab your lemons and you just very finely peel. So there's none of the white pith. That's the important bit, because that will be bitter. So I just peeled it and then put it onto a tray, popped it in the oven on 100 degrees for 20 minutes initially, and then gave it a bit of a stir, and then another 20 minutes. And at the same time, I had another pan and I had just stripped some rosemary, put it all over the baking dish, straight in the oven with the lemon. So what I've ended up with is a little container with the dried lemon, and we're going to be using that. And later when we do the rosemary, I'm going to be using some of the dried rosemary as well. The only other ingredients that you need to do both of these recipes is some sea salt flakes, and my advice is always get the best sea salt that you can find, because it's such an important ingredient. So you want to have something that's really nice. I also have got some Himalayan salt ready, and I've got some just whole black peppercorns. So really, to do these two recipes, to get beautiful homemade seasonings that will last for months in a sealed container in your pantry, why not make your own when you've got all these ingredients that have barely cost you a cent? Okay, so my first thing that I'm going to do is I found the Cookie Doo recipe called lemon pepper seasoning. Now, what I've done is I've actually tweaked this recipe a little bit. So the amazing thing with Cookie Doo now is you can find a recipe that you like, cook it exactly as it says, but if you think to yourself afterwards, yeah, I might tweak it this way, I'll tweak it that way, you absolutely can. You can save it into your created recipes. It's very, very easy to do. Just get onto Cookie Doo and follow the instructions. And once you've got it in your created recipes, then you can make any changes that you want. So then that's it. You don't have to rely on your memory, which at my age starts to get a bit not so good. And then you'll get it right every time. Okay, I haven't got around to doing that yet, so I'm just going to wing it a little bit. Start cooking. So this is telling you to put the oven on, and to this recipe says to actually put the lemon rind in here and make it into zest first and then dry that. I'm actually going to do the opposite because I find it works just as well, and it's so much easier to not have to get the little tiny bits of lemon zest out of the bowl afterwards. So I'm skipping all of this step just for now, and we are then cooking it. says to rinse and dry your bowl. So now I'm actually going to start putting in the ingredients. So I've got 60 grams of the whole peppercorn. I'm hoping you can kind of see my screen. If not, apologies. And then I'm going to put in 130 of the Himalayan salt. So that goes in there like that. So seasoning, salt, pepper. And then it says the dried lemon zest. So I'm only going to use half of this dried lemon zest that I've done, because I'm going to save some for the next variation, which will have some rosemary in it, dried rosemary. Okay, so that's about half. And then we're going to put the lid on. Pretty simple so far. The instructions say just for 6 seconds at speed 10, but I'm actually going to bump it up for 1 minute because I haven't zested the lemon first, you see. Okay, so all you need to do to change whatever's on your screen, you just touch the desired, so I've touched the time, and once that's large, then you know that you're ready to change it to whatever you want. So I'll put it on for, let's say 45 seconds, so you're not too bored. And then touch this one, because that will now be your speed. We're going to put it onto speed 10, and it's probably going to be pretty loud, so I don't know, talk amongst yourselves. Now I've stopped that, so I set it at 45 seconds and it's down to about 16. So I've actually only done it for 30 seconds, and I'm going to have a little look because I could see that on the top of my lid it's starting to form the, you can see the, not sure if you can, no, not really. Okay, so I'll turn it up this way. Oh, don't breathe too deeply because that's peppercorns in there. So you can see by the lid, and you can also see in the bowl. Oh, that is potent. Okay, that's perfect. So 30 seconds, there you go. When I finally get round to tweaking my recipe into my created recipes, I'm going to try and remember that I instead of 6 seconds, I'm going to do it for just 30 seconds. All right, so we're going to remove this. It's actually made quite a lot, and I hope my bowl is big enough. Mix shot again. If you've watched lots of my lives, you know I just about use this for everything I do. They're $12.95 now. They've gone up a little bit since I've started talking 2 years ago. They're the best thing you'll ever use in your kitchen. So I'm going to just pour it into the bowl. Pray that it is big enough. If not, get another bowl, Tracy. Okay, so that's that. Or get a jar, pop it in there. Yep, the rest of that will fit in there. Terrific. Another little tip. Go out and get yourself some pastry brushes, buy half a dozen or so, and you can use them to very quickly brush down the sides. I find it so much easier than trying to use a spatula. Sorry if I keep, but that is really strong, that seasoning. So what would you use lemon pepper seasoning for? Put a comment in if you like. I'd love to see what you use it for. For me, I use it for my Atlantic salmon that I get my husband to cook out on the barbecue sometimes, or sometimes we steam it, depends what we feel like. I also put it into flour, and then we toss in some beautiful calamari, and my husband again does fantastic salt and pepper calamari or squid, whichever you prefer. This is just so beautiful because I know there are no preservatives at all. It's completely natural and it lasts forever in the cupboard. And I've just finished my batch, which is why I had to make another batch. Okay, beautiful. There we go. That is that done. Put that aside. The bowl is still dry and it's got a bit of remnants of what we've already done, but it doesn't matter. I have to cough. Just a second. Okay, put that aside. Note to self, don't breathe in the fumes. So now we're going to do the rosemary variation. I'm just going to go backwards using this same recipe, and I'll make a few little tweaks as well. So here we go. Next, this says whole black peppercorns, but instead of putting in 60 grams, I'm going to put in a little bit less because I don't want it to be predominantly pepper. I want it to be predominantly rosemary, lemon and salt. So just decrease the amount, maybe put just 20 grams in. Okay, that's that. And then the next thing is your salt. Now again, I'm not making as big a batch this time, so I've kind of halved what this says. It says 130 of Himalayan salt. I'm going to put in about 60, I think it was, of the sea salt. So in that goes 80. Never mind. And then next, we're going to put in the other half of the dried lemon zest. In that goes. And then I'm going to add, as my tweak, a nice big handful of the dried rosemary. Well, 2 handfuls. Sometimes I can't count. 2.5. All right, there we go. It's not an exact science, guys. That's the great thing about it. Back on here, making a mess. I'm going to show you what I do for that mess. Who out there has got this little amazing, let me see, there you go. It's called a double-headed sweeper brush. This is the bomb, guys. It's about, I don't know, $16.95 from the mix shop. And it is designed that this top bit fits right in there. And then this bit, not only does it go inside in the little hard to reach bit, but you can also flick off anything on your screen. And most importantly, from behind the selector key. Can you see that? Am I doing it right? There you go. You see how I'm getting right in there? Because if you just get a grain of something, like a grain of rice or whatever, it's going to upset the pressing of your buttons. So yeah, anyway, lots and lots of items in the mix shop. And if you don't already have a consultant, then please feel free to pop my name in if you do purchase. If you've got your own consultant, please put their name in because we do get just a tiny little bit of recognition for putting people onto that. All right, let's talking, Tracy. Insert the lid on. We're going to change this again. So it says 6 seconds. I'm now just going to put it onto 30 seconds like I did last time. And then the speed is 10. That's less than 30 seconds. It was about 23 seconds. I'm going to have a quick look, and I think it's okay. My bad, sorry about that. I'll just wipe this in. Oh yeah, now that I can really smell the rosemary in here. And I think what I might do with these today or tonight, I've got a lovely slow cooker going, and the slow cooker it's got ossobuco in it. When I was trying to decide what sauce that I would put in, I had a quick look on Cookie Doo. I looked up lamb ossobuco first and wasn't anything that really startled me. So then I thought lamb shanks. I remember there was a great lamb shank recipe with a sauce that you made first. So I've just borrowed the sauce from the lamb shank recipe, made that in the Thermomix first thing this morning. Then I just floured my ossobuco and then layered it into my slow cooker, pouring the sauce over each time. So, you know, there is so much content in Cookie Doo, and you can just pick bits and pieces out of it to whatever takes your fancy. Okay, so now I'm going to put some of this rosemary salt. I think this will pretty much all fit in because I only made the half a batch, remember? So I'm going to use this rosemary salt on some roast potatoes. So I will be peeling my potatoes using my Thermomix and the blade cover peeler. What I like about that is it means I don't have to peel it. I can go on doing something else, you know, cutting up the pumpkin or whatever. But the peeler gives it sort of like just a bit of a rough edge on the potato. Think of a golf ball with all those little dimples in it. That's how they come out. And when you oil them and then sprinkle the stuff on it, they just crisp up beautifully. All right, there we go. That's pretty much got it all. So that, everybody, is our rosemary lemon salt. So you see, a couple of different variations. Get yourself some little containers like that you can seal, mark it clearly, so because when you look at them, they kind of look similar. So I just have to remember that that one is that one and this one is this one. And then the rest of this rosemary that I so painstakingly dried, I'm actually just going to stick it in the bowl. And you notice I haven't washed the bowl in between because think about it, there's only been a bit of salt and pepper and lemon zest, whatever, nothing that's going to cause a problem. I need to clean this because it drives me crazy if it's got stuff all over it. I have got my money's worth out of this little fellow. Oh, and the slider board for anyone who wants to be able to move their machine around without having to lift it. These are now available from the mix shop. You can get it in white, black or beech wood. They start at around $119. The way that they're designed is they've got the actual little carvings out for the feet, so the feet sit in there beautifully, and it means that you can just with one hand move it around and you know that you are not damaging your scales. Beautiful. Okay, so I have popped that rosemary in there. I'm just going to put the time for like, let's say 20 seconds just for now, and the speed 10, same. Okay, so let's have a look at it and see how fine it is. Again, you have got control over how fine the it is when you're milling it, and that's pretty good. So now I have got naturally dried rosemary. Look at that. I mean, that is just exactly what you would buy in the shop. And there's my little jar that I will be filling up. So don't pay for it in the supermarket at whatever. Even if it's just a couple of dollars, it's still a couple of dollars you don't need to spend. You've probably got rosemary growing out in your garden for free. Stick your oven on when there's something else being cooked in the oven. Lovely. Okay, I'm very quickly going to talk about the all-purpose meat rub, which I've also done today because I put that in with my ossobuco. I'm not going to make it because I've already made it. Here's what's left of it because I used the rest. All right, I'll read out the ingredients. So all-purpose meat rub. 2.5 teaspoons of paprika. Just 1 moment. My husband is talking to somebody at the front door and he needs to walk away. Thank you. Okay, 2.5 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of sea salt flakes, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon of black cracked pepper. So already cracked, just, you know, use your shaker. What do we got? 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and then if you want to ramp it up a little bit, you can put 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. I call it optional. I don't put it in because I'm a bit of a wuss. And once it's all in the bowl, 15 seconds on speed 10, voila, you have an all-purpose meat rub. Which way do I show it to you? There you go. That's the tiny little bit that I've got left because I used the other half. So it only makes a small batch, but you can double it, triple it, whatever you want if you find that you like it and you're using it all the time. So just make what the recipe says to begin with, and then same thing. You can also, if you want to change the flavours a bit, go for it. Just Google seasonings or meat rubs in cookie dough. There is so many out there. yeah, you don't have to buy these things. That's what I love about my Thermomix. Yes, it cooks beautiful meals, etc., but it does all those really basic things. That's my passion, as you might have noticed by the list of things that I talk about. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm supposed to be out of the door in 10 minutes, and I hope that that's been of value. Give me a little bit of feedback, just a comment or a, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever it is you want. And if I have inspired anybody to get themselves a Thermomix, now is a really good time, because with the TM6, if you purchase right now, so sorry for the YouTube people, you're probably going to miss out, then you can opt to have a second bowl. So 2 of these beauties, and normally this is $3.75, but it's only $29 while stocks last. So it's currently early November 2022, and I would think that by the end of November the stocks will all be gone. So get in now if you want to, and hopefully I've inspired you and you'll choose me as your consultant. Okay, have a great day everybody. Bye for now.